Well, hello guys, and welcome to the Rolling Reels International Film Festival 2021, presented by Festember and IT Trichy. So, before we start, let's start off with a small icebreaker session. We'll be having a few questions that revolve around the iconic movies of all time. So let's get started. The first question. Yeah, so the audience, you can guess the correct answer. Just post them in the chat box. Let's get started, guys. The first question. The story of Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum revolves around the trials and tribulations of which family? Option A, the Malhotras. Option B, the Raijans. Option C, the Singhanias. And option D, the Oberois. Come on, guys, post your answers in the chat box and let's see how many of you get it right. So we're getting plenty of answers here. You've got A, okay. So A's one. Any other answers? Well, we'll be closing the question now. The correct answer is option B, the Reichens. That's the correct answer.
So now you guys got the idea how we are gonna start. We're gonna ask the questions. So let's move on to the second question. So here we have the second question. In the movie Piku, what does Amitabh Bachchan's character Bhaskar Banerjee suffer from? Option A, cancer. Option B, gastric disorder. Option C, arthritis. Option D, chronic constipation. You guys can answer in the chat box. So yeah, uh, the answer for the second question is chronic constipation. And now we'll move to the third question, which is this.
Okay, so this is now a really good question. I personally loved it. Who is the Tamil actress who signed Hollywood filmmaker James Cameron's movie? Option A, Trisha. Option B, Shreya Saran. Option C, Lakshmi Rai. Option D, Amala Paul. Come on, guys. We would love to see answers in the chat box. Give us what you feel. Option A or option B, or option C or option D. I'll repeat the question. Who is the Tamil actress who signed Hollywood filmmaker James Cameron's movie? Okay, we've got plenty of answers. We've got an A, we've got a D. Wow, this is interesting. Ooh, we've got a B as well. We just got to wait for someone to put a C in now. Cool, we've
Yeah,
got a C.
here we got to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. Come on, guys, we need more answers. Let's go. All right, we've got all four options in the chat box. And the correct answer is Lakshmi Rai. Option C, guys. Good going to those
That's
who got it right.
Here we have the fourth question. In the movie Dear Zindagi, what does Shah Rukh Khan's character Dr. Jaygant Khan do? A therapist, an architect, an actor, or a journalist? You can type your answer in the chat box, and we'd love to see your answer. Come on, guys, you can write the answers. You know it right. It's a pretty cool movie. You guys must have watched. I know. So yeah, we are getting some answers here. We're getting an A. We are getting a B. Nice. Come on, guys. Type in the answers. It's just a one letter. So we got an A here as well. So the correct answer is a therapist, which is an option A. So now we move on to the next question.
Okay, guys, hope you're all ready. Let's go. Who is the only actor in Indian cinema to give five mega hits in the year 1982, including both Tamil and Hindi? Option A, Rajinikanth. Option B, Amitabh Bachchan. Option C, Kamal Hassan. And option D, Mohanlal. I'll give you the question again. Who is the only actor in Indian cinema to give five mega hits in the year 1982? Remember that year, it's 1982, including both Tamil and Hindi. Cool, cool. We were getting plenty of answers. So Yash says A, Rajnikant, all right. Sunesh, you're going with Kamal Hassan, all right. Rechik, Kamal Hassan, cool. And then we're getting Rajnikant, cool, cool. Okay, guys, just got to stay tuned to find out the correct answer. Vishal, that's a pretty good guess. You're going for A, B, C, all right. That's cool. And D. Okay, we just need a E option for Vishal now, Manav.
Yeah, we just have to type the answer. Come on, Vishal, E as well.
Go for E, dude. Cool, we'll be closing the question now. And the correct answer is Kamal Hassan.
Congrats to
Shout
Vishal
out to,
Balaji for getting the right answer.
yeah, Aishwarya, Sriram, Vishal. Well done, guys.
So now we'll be moving on to the next question. In the movie Kahani, which Indian city does Vidhyabalan visit in order to search for a missing husband? Option A, Agra. Option B, Mumbai. Option C, Kolkata. Option D, Chennai. Guys, you can type the answer in the chat box. We would love to see your answer. Okay, somebody's going with C. Okay, we have an answer L. Nice. Um, yeah, guys, come on, type in the answer. Oh, people are writing the answer. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'll
they're
repeat
pretty
the
good
question for
now.
you. Yeah, they're pretty confident writing the complete answer. We have a C. Oh, nice. Majority is going for C. So, as the majority can see, the people are always right. The option is the correct answer is C, Kolkata.
And now the next question. In Jab We Met, what is the name of Geet's cousin? Is it Roop or Simran or option C, Priya or Preet? Come on, guys, give me a guess, even if you're not sure. Worst case, just give me the option or the name you like the most. Which name do you like the most? Put it in the chat box. Apart from the answer, which name do you like the most? Option A, Roop, option B, Simran, option C, Priya, or option D, Preet?
Okay, don't go for Simran. It's a pretty common name, yeah.
Come on, guys. We need the answers and, of course, the favorite name.
Yeah, even if the answer is wrong, just spam the answer, guys. Priya, oh, looks like Priya is a bit like in
Yeah, I guess Priya is pretty
race. Priya,
famous around here.
yeah,
Ajita is going for Priya, all right. Richik as well. Cool.
Richie, Sai
We've got a
Sanika with
Simran
B. Yeah, we
and
got
a
a Simran. That's nice. Come
Sriram.
on, guys. A and
Sriram.
B, they're left behind. We can't do this, guys.
Okay, we're now closing the
Okay, we
question. The answer is option A, Roop. Good going to
congrats
those
to
guys
all.
who got it right. And yeah, the others who liked Priya, all the best, guys. Next question.
So next question is, Kamal Hassan did the writing, direction, screenplay, acting, and production of a movie. Which movie it was? So we did so many works. So guys, you got to think harder. And I'll repeat the question. I'll repeat the question. Kamal Hassan did the writing, direction, screenplay, acting, and production of a movie. So which movie it is? You guys have the options on the screen. It's Virumandi, it's Dashawant, and Heram and Vishwarupam. So you guys can type the answer in the chat box.
These movies are just classics, right, Manav? You
Yeah,
can watch
yeah,
them
it's
like
real.
countless number of times. I
We
love
can
them
watch
too.
on loop. We can watch them on loop, dude.
I know, right? Especially
Yeah.
Dasavataram, his acting skills are amazing.
Oh, I have to go and watch this movie next moment after this show.
Check it out, man. It's you'll love it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Cool. We're getting plenty of answers in the chat box.
So I guess it's time we should reveal the answer. So the correct answer is Hey Ram. And this is the final question. This was the final question that we presented. Now we can move on to the further. Now we can move on to
Now,
the thing.
yeah. Now the next question. Hindi movie Force, which had John Abraham and Janelia in the lead, is a remake of which Tamil blockbuster movie? Option A, Kaka Kaka. Option B, Sami. Option C, Vetayadu Vilayadu. Option D, Iron. We've got really cool four movies here. These four movies are loved by everyone. Kaka Kaka by Surya. Oh my god, I love the songs in this movie, dude. They're pretty amazing. Option B, Sami. You can't forget that movie, right? Option C and option D, total love those movies are. Come on, guys, put in your answers. And yeah, feel free to put in a song if you like from these movies as well. There are some pretty, really amazing, good songs in these movies. So put in the songs as well and the correct option. So yeah, the question again: the Hindi movie Force, which had John Abraham and Janelle in the lead, is a remake of which Tamil blockbuster movie? Option A, Kaka Kaka. Option B, Sami. Option C, Vetayadu Vilayadu. And option D, Iron. Cool. Akash has come up with Uire Uire. Lovely song, dude. Answers: Yashal A, Kaka Kaka. I think that's the right answer. What do you think, Manav?
Yeah, it is option A, definitely, guys. So this was the
So
last
Kaka
question
Kaka
of for
is the
the
right
event.
answer. Well done, guys.
So yeah, now we'll be moving on to the next
That's it.
round. That's
And
it
yeah,
for
well
the.
done to all those who got the correct answers and hope you had a nice time, guys.
Thank you and see you for the next. And don't worry, guys, we have another thing coming up after this show. So stay tuned and watch the show fully.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Festember, powered by TVS, is a fest that promises celebration, its joyous wings spreading far beyond its own confines. It gets bigger and better with every edition of its iconic events. One of the flagship ventures of the fest, something that takes place with months and months of preparation and awaiting, is finally here. We welcome you all to the inauguration of the Rolling Reels International Film Festival. The Rolling Reels International Film Festival celebrates the quintessential aspects of a film: class, culture, and community. As a medium, films energize their audience and act as a glue that brings people together. Presented by Festember, the biggest student-run fest in South India, the RRIFF provides budding filmmakers with a perfect chance to show their filmmaking skills and interact with established icons in the cinema. Cinema is just beyond escapism. It's about inspiration. And the spirit of RRIFF is about embodying this. This 2021, the RRIFF is back again in its seventh edition to give budding cinema enthusiasts a chance to take the industry by storm. It's not always about the big picture. Sometimes it's the little things that matter, such as the perfect background score. And Festember, powered by TVS, believes that every such thought deserves a place. We now call upon Mr. Anuj Srivatsa, Director RRIFF, to deliver the welcome address and to announce the top 15 movies. Over to Anuj. So, hi Anuj.
Hi, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, so,
You may proceed.
yeah, cool. I welcome one and all present here to the seventh edition of the Rolling Reels International Film Festival with immense pleasure and gratitude. Humanity as a whole improves through meaningful exchanges and mutual learning from one another. Cultural art forms for ages have acted as a bridge in conveying one's thoughts and thereby creating an impact on the society. This film festival aims to achieve the same, enabling direct exchanges and dialogues among the artists and the audience. Cinema speaks a universal language. Movies have meaning, relevance, and messages for all people, regardless of their national, cultural, or social backgrounds. They help break the barriers, ignite feelings, engage the emotions, and move the people that consume it. The lens through which the story is told is not just about dialogues, but about the search for truth and meaning. It is not just about songs, but soul stirring music and the power of stillness. It is not just about dashed hopes and cruel injustice, but also about stirrings of hope and fight back and survival in the midst of despair. RRIFF, the annual International Short Film Festival, is an initiative by NIT Trichy's Festember, the biggest cultural festival of South India. RRIFF is proud to have previously hosted talks by notable figures such as R. Velraj, Praveen Antony, Shrikar Prasad, Vignesh Shivan, Santosh Shivan, Pratap Poten, Mohan Raja, Lingusamy, and many other pioneers of the film industry. The previous edition of RRIFF was proud to have esteemed personalities like Anthony Gonzalez, late K.V. Anand, Tom Moore, Ravi K. Chandran, and C.S. Amutan, to name a few in the judging panel. A lot has changed since the inception of the festival. This is the second time the film festival is being conducted online, and even amidst the uncertainty prevailing around the world, it has managed to garner a lot of attention from the film industry and aspiring filmmakers alike. The Rolling Reels Film Festival has also evolved to become the Rolling Reels International Film Festival last year in a bid to reach out to filmmakers throughout the world. This is an astounding feat for a film festival that had its inception only in the last decade. It is also a respectful nod to the legacy of cinema itself, a medium that transcends languages, genres, and even countries. We started this year's edition 2 months back, and today marks the culmination of months of effort by a team of 50 skilled organizers. In spite of the process being entirely different and challenging, we could bring on a board of eminent set of jury members this time. We had Vasantabalan, Magesh Balasubramaniam, Ruben, Vijay Karthikanan in the preliminary jury panel, along with Delhi Ganesh, Madhumita Sundararaman, and Sivakumar Vijayan in the main jury panel. Despite the times being uncertain, the pool of enthusiastic filmmakers dealt with the despair and took it as an opportunity to expand the horizons of their imagination and presented their movies with completely different storylines tailor made during the pandemic. My best wishes to all the participants for your huge future endeavors. We would love to see you all produce more movies that keep the viewers in awe. I would like to thank the audience for turning up, since a huge ship like RRIFF isn't possible if it doesn't have the sea of audience to sail on. I cannot thank the jury, the participants, and the audience enough for making this festival a huge success. Finally, I would like to thank the people who are the face of this grand event and made this happen. That is the core team of RRIFF, without whom this wouldn't be possible, and who stood with me through thick and thin. through challenging and tough times. I would also like to thank and appreciate the efforts given by the RRIFF juniors in making this happen and to continue working with a can do attitude till the end. Anuj, head RRIFF Festember 2021, once again welcome each and every one of you to this grand event. I will now announce the movies that made it into the top 15 category. First up, Nanni, Thank You. Next, The First Wedding. Next, The Fourth Rule. Kapan, True Warriors. Martyrs. The Case. Pira. Ponnondru Kanden, Marriage Proposal. Case number 404. Nangam Vidhi, Fourth Rule. Maranam Meenda Jananam. Paper Wings. Amara. Offside. And finally, Hunger. Thank you and stay tuned. Rahul will continue.
Thank you, Anuj, and congratulations to everyone who had made the top 50. So, here are the deliverables offered by Short Funly for RRIFF. 15 coupons worth a total of 22,500 rupees, which will enable users to release their short films on the Short Funly platform for half the price and get 60% of the revenue their movie generates. Also, there will be podcast interviews for top 5 winning teams, which is likely to happen soon. So that was a really inspiring speech by Anuj, summing up the spirit of RRIFF. And with that, we now call upon Mr. Harishwar, XCOM Festember, to address the gathering. Oh, Harishwar is here.
Hello everyone, I'm Harishwar, Festember's overall coordinator. Yeah. The National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli, is a prestigious institution in South India, currently consistently placed among the top 10 engineering institutions of the nation. Though the COVID-19 pandemic finds us quite lost, we hope to do our part in building a community of individuals who continuously create and innovate. Festember is the annual cultural festival of NIT Trichy. It is a 4-day student and non-profit event held annually during late September, early October. Founded by NIT Trichy students in 1975, Festember has now become one of the largest festivals in South India. It now boasts an annual participation strength of more than 15,000 students from over 500 colleges across India. The Rolling Reels International Film Festival provides a platform for young filmmakers to showcase their talents and interact with some of the stars of the film industry. The Rolling Reels International Film Festival is a treat to its audience, a launchpad for its participants, ultimately a tribute to the art of filmmaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Harishwar. So next up, this event wouldn't be possible without the support of our sponsors. So with utmost gratitude, I thank MNX, our entertainment partner, Romedina, our entertainment partner, Short Fundly, our online media partner, Radio Merci, our entertainment partner, Radio City, our FM partner, and Pocket Aces, entertainment partner, for making this event a success. So we can start with the second filler event, which is sure to be a lot of fun for the audience. Stay tuned.
Okay, hello guys, we're back and we've got another small icebreaker session for you. And the event now is to guess the dialogue, alright? So you have to complete the entire sentence, or you could just give me the movie name from where the dialogue's from. So the first one up is do not underestimate the power of the common man. So that's the first one. You can start to put in your answers in the chat box. And yeah, we'll be giving a shout out to those who get it right. Just give it a shot, guys. All it takes is a guess. Okay, so now we've got the next question. You can see the dialogue on the screen. I'll give you a task. Read it yourself. So you've got Na Satta Kiliyan Danda Nasayum. So try reading it and give me the name of the movie from where it's from. Yeah, so we're winding up with this question. I'm over to the next one, duh.
So, hey guys. And now we'll start with the much awaited panel discussion. A discussion is an exchange of knowledge, a place where the opinions of every person are taken into account without any room for prejudice. And this certainly is no exception. With such eminent panelists that have joined us today, it is a certainty that we are sure to learn something as mere spectators to this discussion. I would like to start off by introducing the two panelists who have graced us today with their presence. Our first panelist for the day is an eminent director and screenwriter, most famous for Thungavana, Vishwarubantu, and Kadalam Kondan, among others. I'm honored to welcome Mr. Rajesh M. Selva to this panel discussion. Welcome, sir. Our second panelist is the mind behind Valamai Tarayo, which was awarded the Tamil Nadu State Film Award for the Best Family Film. Her more recent works include Kedi Engala Karpudurai and Mune Munuvartha. I am elated to welcome Madhumita Sundararaman to this panel discussion. Welcome.
Hi everyone. Hi.
Welcome. I'm really glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Hi, Rajesh.
Hi, Madhu. Finally, you met here again.
Yeah, I know. After so long.
Okay, it's sure been a while. Today's discussion is a very interesting one, aptly so in the current climate that we are in. The impact of COVID-19 on cinema. Without further ado, let us explore the realm of filmmaking and the impacts of the pandemic on the same with the two panelists. Can we start with the discussion?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I was wondering if you had anything to say to the audience.
Oh, hi everyone. Very glad to be here. NIT Trichy is a place very close to my heart because, in all honesty, my brother went to college there. So he's an alumni of NIT Trichy, but nothing to do with cinema or anything. He's a computer engineer, like probably many of you are. So I've come to NIT Trichy myself many times, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us here.
Okay, we'll start with the discussion. We have a few questions
Sure.
regarding this.
Sure, anytime.
So, yeah, thank you. So, the first question is, people have moved towards series version of films these days. So, the hype for these series-based films has also increased a lot during the pandemic. So, now that conventional films are making their comeback, do you think it would affect the films being taken now?
No, definitely not, because I think as far as India is concerned, theatrical releases are not just about watching content. In many parts of the world, I think watching a movie is entertainment, is just how do you put it? Is just watching content and nothing more than that. Whereas in India, it's almost a festival. It was the only form of entertainment. Theater going and watching it films with your family, with friends, is an experience, and so I don't think that will get affected at all. Of course, I think the audience's exposure to multiple kinds of content would have increased during this lockdown. So an audience that would have just had access to, let's say, theatrical movies once or twice a year or thrice a year would have now got access during the lockdown to, all the Sony Lives and the Z5s and the Amazons and the Netflix and the Hotstar. So I think they would be more exposed to different kinds of content. So I think that would give them better expectations of what to expect from us filmmakers. But other than that, I don't think theater goers will, reduce, or the attitude of watching a movie in a theater or the experience of watching a movie in a theater would ever change. I myself, when a big my favorite stars film comes out, even after the pandemic, first day, first show, I still went. So, and it was so good to sit in the theater and enjoy that experience. And it's an experience. I had goosebumps when I heard people whistling and cheering for their star again. So I think that thing you can't take away. No OTT platform or content can take that away from our audience, especially in India.
Sure, man. So that was really nice to listen. So does Rajesh sir have anything to say about it?
You're on mute,
Sorry.
Rajesh. Rajesh, you're on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So same question arose when other technologies like satellite and your DTH came. So I don't think so any technology coming in will affect the mainstream, that is a big screen viewing experience. So as she rightly said, it itself an experience going to a theater and watching films, and there will be films made for bigger screens for sure. So this is another technology emerging in where we will take it in as a content providers, but theater going experience will definitely will not fade out. That will be there for sure.
Okay. So that was like really enlightening, especially the part where both of you started to talk about, let's say, superstar films. That
It's not only superstar films, but it's also about the film content. So I think in future we'll be more serious about making films only for screens, which can be watched, experienced, and enjoyed only in the big screens. So those kind of films will hit the screen for sure. So more content will be created for big screens, like the movies made like Avengers or any big screen films. Right? Watching Avengers on a big screen and watching Avengers on a OTT is completely a different experience. So I think that will be there always.
yes, sir. So this was a question I had for quite some while. Do you think the pandemic and people watching cinema from their homes has affected the plot or genre of the movies that are being made with the audience current situation in mind? For example, some movie experiences are great only if seen in theaters and a large amount of crowd. So during this pandemic time, we had a lot of documentary like releases. So do you think the audience favorite genre would change?
Rajesh, you want to take it first?
No, I think more experimental films are coming now, like where their percentage was very less. Like especially what Madhu did last time with KD, and it came in mainstream and it was a hit. So those kind of films are very less content-wise. When producer accepts the content, they think that this will not sell in the big screen, but it did. So in that sense, yeah, there is a change in genre, there is change in content. People are more, we are more courageous to come up with very sensitive and sensible contents where we have a huge number of consumers for it. The only people who can come to the theater and watch it was the number restricted for mainstream films. Now we have more eyeballs. So we have more audience who don't have time to come to theaters or for any other reasons. So I think like the numbers have increased now. By OTT coming in, yes, there will be a shift in genres and content, everything.
I also think, just to add to what Rajesh said, I think, see, what's happening is when you go for a theatrical release, right, your producer or your distributor has a lot of say in the kind of films that you're making. Because if you have a star, then you get a certain number of theaters. Your producer is, wants to bank on a star, requires a star for promotion, requires a star for the marketing of the film. Whereas with OTTs coming in, I think the biggest advantage that has happened is we have opened doors to a lot of young and first-time filmmakers. OTT is not worried about how many films have you done before, what have you written before. They are worried because they are not managed by purely theatrical box office numbers. So because of that, I think what happens is even I have consulted for a number of OTT platforms before, and I realized that the one thing that's good about OTT, apart from other things, is they're willing to give more youngsters, more newcomers opportunities. And when that happens, I think automatically the genre change that you're talking about will happen, because with every passing generation, I think the kind of content that they like is changing, is evolving, is varying, and I think because of that, we will have more different genres, experimental films, like Rajesh said. or even some really wacky content, because we realize that there is an audience for that also. And the biggest advantage also is that you're not restricted to an Indian audience alone. If you go for a platform like Amazon or Netflix, like for example, let's take Squid Game, which seems to be the most popular on Netflix for a while now. It didn't just work in Korea, it's got a huge fan following in India as well. Whereas if you thought of Squid Game as a genre, could Squid Game as a film be made? Could Squid Game be made as a film for a theatrical audience? I don't know. Maybe in Korea, even in Korea, maybe not. Maybe in India, definitely not. Whereas with the OTT space moving to that, I think the genres are opening up, and the audience is opening up, because of which I think eventually we will see a very, very varied content.
Yes, I could definitely agree on the booming of different genres we had. Like before the lockdown, I'm not sure if I had this much access to sensitive content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question: once theaters reopen, do you think the demand for OTTs will stay the same or will it decrease? So will
I
people go
think
back
it'll
to
definitely. I
It
think it'll
it
definitely be the same, because OTT is coming in the palm of their hands, no? So while they're driving, while they're sitting waiting at the doctor's appointment, while they're traveling by train, people are watching content, right? Which is why there's such a dearth of content. I don't think uh, the accessibility or the number of people going on OTT will change. I think there will become a very stark difference between what's made for OTT and what's made for theatrical. Now, up till now, I don't think there was a very distinct separation as to, if this was theatrical, this is OTT. I don't think that was the case. Whereas now, because of after the pandemic and everything, I think even as producers, the first question they ask their writers or their filmmakers is this for OTT or is this for theatrical? Because what happens is a lot of people don't realize this, but when when you're writing for OTT is different for writing for theatrical. They're two very different ball games. So even as a writer, before we lock script, we need to know, is this going to OTT or is this going for theatrical? So I don't think OTT number of people on OTT will reduce. I think it will in fact increase, but we will see a distinct separation between what is made for theatrical and what is made for OTT.
Yes, ma'am. So I definitely like to think this way that OTT has opened the new kind of market now and offers more flexibility to directors.
actually the
So
demand
this is
will increase further. Like in coming years, the demand for OTT, the demand for content will increase for sure. So we
பண்றதுக்கு
are
தான் ஆள் இல்ல.
been
And nobody to do
பண்றதுக்கு தான்
content.
correct. We have been working on contents together, me and Madhumita. For we actually, she was there in the deciding content head for Sony Live when I pitched a script to her. So the demand for script and the way she said, like writing for OTT is completely different from writing for main feature. So mainstream cinema. So actually, as she said, there is no people to contribute. There is no institute to train writers also. So like if you say MIT, like MIT should come up with. I was there in MIT in 2015 for my movie promotion. So I even proposed it to the professors there. Like they should start a like Festember should have another wing of training people for content writing, especially for OTT. You can get some people to train them because we don't have people to write. Even we struggle when we being doing like mainstream films. When we come to OTT, Madhumita took almost 6 months to approve my script. So
இது எங்கேயோ கொஞ்சம்
so
லைட்டா
take
வந்து
time.
கொஞ்சம் ஒரு எரிச்சலோட சொல்ற மாதிரி இருக்கே.
இல்ல. It was a great process to understand it. Like we come with a mindset of being so many years writing for a bigger screen. Then we come to OTT and figure out like all those writings are it will not work in OTT. It will definitely not work in OTT.
Yes.
It has to have a different approach, and the entire structure is different. So the tolerance level of the audience is very less. It's lesser than, like, I think it's lesser than 5 minutes or something like that. Like your YouTube ads, lesser than 5 seconds. They have the option of jumping to
Skipping.
another content and watching it. So they have multiple resources and multiple options to jump into same genre also. Not only a person who's watching action, immediately if he's not hooked to the content within 5 minutes, they have the option of changing it. So the quality of writing should increase, will increase, and I think, like, I'm again putting it across to your institution, like, you have to come up with something like training people for writing, especially for OTT. And the demand is going to be very high, like how 2001 IT boomed. So it is the right time for OTT, and there's going to be lots and lots of opportunities and huge demand for content.
Yeah.
And I think we are already working on it. So yeah, that's it.
Right. So yes, that's a very interesting idea to consider, and we'll go with the next questions. Yeah. So this is a very interesting one. Has the budget to viewership ratio of making films have come back to what it was before the lockdown, or will it
Budget, sorry, repeat that. Budget to?
budget to viewership ratio, has it come back to what it was before lockdown?
Not yet, but it will. I think one big example was Suryavanshi. So I'm based out of Bombay these days, and I think one thing we've been seeing with the theaters is Suryavanshi in a weekend has made 50 crores, in 2 weekends has made 89 crores, and things like that. So when we hear those numbers, it's definitely welcoming. It's definitely, hopeful for the film industry and for the theater owners and for the distributors, because their livelihood was also kind of killed because of there's so many theaters that I know that have shut down because they were not able to sustain. They've sold the theaters. They've converted it into hotels or converted it into apartments, for all we know. But so yes, I think the budgets will definitely, in fact, I think it will come back with a vengeance and will make it more and more. And Annate in Chennai, and I hear that's also doing well. I haven't seen the film yet though. And Suryavanshi here, theatrical, has been doing so great. So I have no doubts that the industry will pick up again very soon.
Yes, ma'am. So does Rajesh sir have anything to add to this?
Yeah, like theatrical numbers will increase for sure. So it is slowly, they have opened up 100%
Yes, we're
occupancy
longing,
now.
right?
Yeah, that will increase for sure. No doubt about it. But always, business. If you talk about business, there is like how satellite came in. Before that, the filmmakers depended only on the theatrical collections, and so then overseas came in. We sent the film to overseas, and now OTT has a exhibiting cost is very less in OTT. Like for a distributor or for a film producer, if he has to release a film in theatrical, if it is a small film I'm talking about, the release cost is almost equal to the production cost. So that is completely cut down on OTT. But at the same time, OTTs have to support these smaller films. They again, I see a trend again coming from the mainstream cinema to OTTs, where they buy big stars films or big name films kind of a thing. So that they have to, like people like Madhu was in a few OTT channels in content acquisition. So where you look into the content and not the people involved in it. And if you talk to them, you can figure out whether they can make it or not. Then give the content to them, develop it, spend some time on development, and spend some money on development, and get it back. So OTT platforms, again, going back to the same trend of going behind the star technicians or star cast for the films is little. It's not that good path to take content wise. So business concerned, yes, it will improve for sure. Theatrical has already started. As she said, Anate is doing well in Chennai. Here, a couple of films are doing good in box office. It will increase well soon.
Okay. So this is a very interesting observation that I made. There was so everyone these days is doing a biopic kind of thing. So we had recently had one on Dhoni, and then there was one on, and there's one on Kapil Dev, which is going to come soon. So I'd like to ask one question to you. Does it seem to be the only genre which is working out because there are new ideas, because filmmakers are trying out new ideas, or are they skeptical of any other kind of film working?
No, it is. It is. Can I answer this,
Yeah, yeah,
Madhu?
go ahead. Go ahead,
What it is?
Rajesh.
So this
Sure,
is
sir.
this is not actually. This is, I think this observation comes from the quantity of the content available recently. Because normally what happens is all this OTTs are mainly a data-driven company, so they see the recent success of a content. They have a data with them. How many? See, obviously, when a biopic about a sensational reader or a great sports star, so people would like to see that. So than reading a biopic, it's easy to watch a film, right? So that's why they
Yes.
take it. So what happens with this data-driven companies is they think that people at this moment likes to watch biopic, and they try to do more and more biopics. If suddenly a horror comedy becomes a hit in OTT, or a thriller or a crime thriller becomes a hit in OTT, they think that people want to watch it because the data say so. So the algorithm, what they said, it gives them the feedback that more people are watching, like in all ages and all regions, people are watching this content. So they tend to finally the financiers, people who invest money, they decide what content has to be consumed by the audience. From the beginning, from very start, from my very early to the industry itself, I used to fight with producers regarding this. So whenever a genre is hit, like a biopic or a horror or a thriller, they'll ask, whenever we go narrate a story, they'll ask, do you have a horror script? So because like previously 3 months back for Diwali release, horror will be a hit or a thriller will be hit. That would be their idea, to play a safe game, and they don't understand that it's not a safe game also. It doesn't work like that. So it's about the content, and people are ready to consume anything which is good. They're ready to watch anything which is interesting, which can keep them engaged for 1.5 hours or 2 hours maximum. So I don't think that is the observation. Normally, these corporates, I'm going open against their idea of making content. So I've been talking to them very straight. Whenever I get space and time to talk to them about this, I've been talking to them. Even now, I'm working with a couple of OTT platforms.
So
Yeah,
yes.
I think, see, the thing is, I think as a country also, as a kind of content we're creating also, we've always been, we've had a little bit of a herdy attitude, right?
I'm
Even
not
as an
able to hear
audience,
anybody.
I can hear you, Rajesh. Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear.
Yeah, we can hear you. So yeah, so what I was saying was, as a country also, we've been a bit in terms of following the herd attitude, be it in terms of watching content. Even in the sense, if you told me that Suryavanshi is good but Anatha is not, then I'm probably going to listen to you and go watch Suryavanshi instead of Anatha. If somebody else told me that KD is a better film than something else that came out, then people. So word of mouth is also something that we are quite open to listening to, and I think that's also why the content that gets made is also in a herdy attitude. When I say, we tend to follow what's worked. I always ask this question, and I always say, then if we are just doing what has already been done, then how are we different? Like, for example, when somebody came up to me and they said, KD has worked out so well, so let's make another film. Madhumita, can you make another film for us just like KD? I said, nah, if I keep making the KDs of the world, then I'll get bored, you will get bored, and then the audience will also get bored. So I think what's important is to keep challenging yourself, to keep driving yourself to do something different every time. And so if you see after KD, I'm doing something completely different that nobody will, in fact, I want my producers to put a disclaimer in the beginning of the film and say, anybody who's watched KD and is expecting that genre of film, you've come to the wrong film. This film is still by Madhumita, but it's a completely different film, right? So I think that's, be it the audience, be it the creators, be it the distributors, be it the corporates, we all have to take risks. We all have to challenge ourselves and try something different. Who knows? We may succeed, we may fail, but then that risk is there no matter what we do, right? Whether you're making the same kind of content over and over again, or you're making different kind of content, that risk will always be there. So at least let's try something new. Maybe we make. Why are we looking to make a Parasite in India? Why are we looking to make a Squid Game in India? I know for a fact that a lot of OTT platforms, when Squid Game came out, they reached out to a lot of the creators and said, do you have something like Squid Game? I'm like, no, let's not make another Squid Game. Let's look at something else that's different, that shows our identity as a country, that shows our, experimentation in sci-fi or in something else, or in a, a utopian world or a apocalyptic world. Let's do our version of it. Why do we have to follow along somebody else's path? But I think that change has to not just come from us creators. Of course, we take responsibility for what we create, but also it has to come from the audience. It has to come from the producers, because when let's say, Rahul, if you were going to the theater and you saw a master screening over there, and then you saw a KD screening over there, which one would you go watch? Be honest now.
I have never watched KD, ma'am, so I can't tell.
But you've seen Master. See, there goes your answer.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there, I rest my case.
Rahul, go watch KD. It's a good film.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you.
Immediately after this.
And it won a national award.
No, but jokes apart, I think the approach has to be from all of us. It's got to be from us as creators. It's got to be from you as an audience. It's got to be from the producers who will fund such projects. And it has also got to be from OTT. We can't always say OTT is not giving us enough content. You watch the good content out there, then OTT will automatically give you that kind of content.
Yes, ma'am. So I really like the point about us making our own things. So even if we try to imitate whatever is trending, for example, say Squid Game, you already have the original Squid Game on the online platforms. So
yeah, exactly.
See, now the platform changed, right? There used to be script written for movies, and then slowly it becomes a gaming content. So they make game out of it, and now game comes in, and so it keeps changing, right? It keeps on changing, and as she said, like, it's about the audience responsibility also to give the data to this
platforms,
people who collect this data, platforms, so that they will also give good content. So we don't we also consume, like you can go to theater and watch a master, but you'll not have. Recently I saw one film, I don't want to mention the name. People are praising about the film. It released in theaters, and I was expecting. I also like the director's work, so I watched it in OTT when it got released in OTT, since I was not able to go to theaters because of work. So when I got time, I watched it in OTT, and suddenly I felt that is made for theater. That film is made for theater. It didn't work in OTT at all. It didn't work for me. I didn't get anything out of that film. I felt, why this film, people talk about this so much. So same thing. I'm not saying this because Madhumita is here. I'm referring that film again and again because that has a theatrical budget. It had a theatrical budget. It not like your big films like Master or something like that. not even 10% of it maybe. But it had both values.
Not even
In theater,
20%, not even 1% of it, Rajesh.
so yeah, no, கொஞ்சம் மரியாதையா சொல்லலாம்னு சொன்னேன். So at the theater, you can go watch it with your family, enjoy it. But when you watch it alone, sitting in a room, watching it in OTT in a smaller screen, also it gives you so much. You can take so much from that film, right? So if that the number of hits on that increases, then we'll all get opportunities to do similar content or different genres in that kind of attempts. Panna mudiyum. So as
See,
of now,
one small thing. Sorry, Rajesh. Go ahead.
Yeah,
lag
go
la
ahead.
varudhu.
No.
I was saying, see, the simple logic of it is like this, right? With all due respect, I'm also a big fan of theatrical films like your Master, your Annatha, your Suryavanshi. I also go enjoy the theatrical experience. But then those creators, those producers, those filmmakers, those actors have the theatrical space, which is their biggest audience, right? Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say Master was bought for X amount of money, right, by the OTT platform. Now, more and more people go to the platform and watch Master. So the data that Rajesh was telling you about, that data reads that between Master and, let's say, a smaller film, let's not keep going back to KD, but I'm saying, let's say, for example, a Silukarpati or another smaller film, a Marathi film or a Bengali film or a Malayalam film. Let's say Home, right? Home is also acquired by Amazon. So let's say Home, for example. If Master has more viewership and it costs X amount of money for the OTT platform to buy Master, and Home, it costs them 1/10 of Master to buy. But then it's obviously going to get them only 1/10 or 1/20th the audience that Master has. Now, if they have budget to buy, they would much rather go and buy another Master for that X amount of money rather than buying 10 such smaller films like Home, right? I mean, you think of the logic, look at it from their perspective. They are not right or wrong either. The more viewers are watching, so their data tells them that more audience is watching Master. So we should buy more films like Master. And the percentage of the smaller films they buy is, the ratio is going to be 80 versus 20. 80% of the budget goes into big films like Master and 20% of the budget goes into the mix of Home. Appo ungalku how many Homes will you see on screen? You will see only Masters, right? So it's not about what is the OTT platform buying. It is about what do we watch as an audience. Munnadiyavudhu theatrical, when theatrical movies used to release in the for the audience, there was no data-driven way to judge how much a film collected, right? Whereas now these platforms have data that says that this many people watched it, this many people finished the whole film, this many people stopped halfway, this many people stopped at the 10th minute. They have that much data. So all we can do is make, people also ask us this very important question. When I was part of platforms, I've had so many audiences, students and all say, ma'am, but why aren't platforms making content for Tamil Telugu audience? It's a very valid question. Why aren't they making for Tamil Telugu audience? Because the Tamil Telugu audience are watching all the superstar movies and all their budget goes into acquiring the superstar movies. When I say superstar, I don't mean just Mr. Rajnikant. I mean the big actor films. So then when that happens, then they don't have budgets to acquire smaller films or produce content in smaller budgets. So it's a collective effort. We all will make that change. We all will make that happen. So watch the smaller films on OTT platform. It doesn't even cost you as much as it costs you to go to a theater. It costs you much lesser. So watch those good films, support that kind of content so that platforms will also realize that making smaller content like that, and those of you that are interested in creating films, writing films, directing films, shooting films, when you come to our side of the world, then you'll really wish people like us were helping you more to create that content and platforms were helping you create that content. I think it's in everybody's best interest to support good cinema, good series, good content, regardless of what language it is in.
Right, ma'am. So, listening to both of you, yeah, so most of my questions have been answered. So,
Fantastic.
yeah, I mean, I really like the way you look at it like made for theaters and made for OTT, like two different categories.
Yeah.
So there are still a few more. So, in what way does the release of movies in OTT affect the Tamil film industry? So, like in a good way or a bad way, a boon or a bane?
Go ahead, Rajesh. It's yours.
Yeah. Industry, I don't think so. If you talk about industry, it didn't affect the industry for me. It affected producers, part of industry where the producers had films and they had multiple pressures. There are producers who want to release in theaters, the distributors want to release in theaters, and there are distributors who don't want to release in theaters because they can't wait for this pandemic to get over. And it was very uncertain that when it will get over and all that. So they need, and most of the 90% of the investors, producers, they don't put in their own money. It comes from a financier. So there is lots of other numbers involved. So they have to get that money back. So OTT was a best way out for them to go ahead and release. And I don't think so. Industry suffered, but financiers, the investors who put in money, that capital investment, people who have put in, they suffered, and they also was not able to make a open decision of okay, let's go to OTT kind of a thing. We read about it, we saw lots of problems regarding that. So OTT is again, it's like another source of income for a filmmaker or a film producer or a people who invest in films. It's another source of income. Now the producer council has come up with a, I think, 14-day release. Previously it was 90 days. 1 year sometimes, like 90 days after satellites can release a film. Now it has come down to 14 days. That is a good decision for me because it's 2 weeks. First Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's all your collection is. For any film, for that matter, it's not only it's not only small films. Even for the star films, it is maximum 3 to 4 weeks. That's it. So now they have come up with this idea of releasing in OTT. So the industry was working. We were working. I was working. I know Madhu was working. I was working in pandemic. I was writing for OTT. And I started shooting as soon as they gave permissions with a limited crew. We started shooting, and even now, right now, I'm shooting something in Bombay for a Hindi content in an OTT channel. We have restrictions here. We have to work with only 75-member crew, but industry is running. We find difficulty in casting people. We find difficulty in getting good technicians to hire because everybody is busy. So OTT release didn't affect the industry, but it affected for sure people who have invested money in it. So they didn't come together and say that okay, OTT is a source of income where we can at this pandemic times we can go into it, and because they had lots of pressures from the exhibitors where theater owners didn't want them to do it. They want them to wait for the movies to come to theaters and all that. So overall, I don't think so. Industry got affected with it. But people talk about it, uh, project it, saying that industry is affected, but no.
I have a slightly different opinion on that. I think Rajesh is right about some of us who were blessed enough to be able to work during the pandemic also. But because shoots were not happening, I think the daily wage laborers were quite affected. So if you meant was the industry affected, then if you're talking about daily wage crew members, lightmen, and the camera crew that were going out for daily shoots, if their livelihood was affected, then yes, the answer is very much yes. But if you're talking about the financial effect was the financial sector of the industry affected, then like what he said, because certain decisions were not being able to be made because of OTT versus theatrical. So financiers, producers were affected. There were some of us that were lucky enough. I think it's also about when the going gets tough, the tough get going, I guess. So for people like Rajesh and I, we are workaholics. We like to keep working. So I think that
I
also
thought the
helped.
question was post-pandemic, right? No, it was
No, it
when the
was
pandemic
during
happened.
pandemic.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it was
okay,
during
okay.
the
I read it wrong.
pandemic. So I
Okay,
think
okay.
that was the thing. And post pandemic, like you rightly said, everybody is working, which is great, which is
Yeah,
fantastic, because then so many crews are out there shooting and so many people are back to work. So in that sense, I think it's great. But yeah, I think we'll survive. Yeah, I think we'll survive. We human beings are quite persevere. We persevere. We will fight back and we will come back.
yeah. OTT, as you said, OTT actually helped the industry because
Yeah.
there is huge demand, and as I said, like there is a demand for technicians. If I need a good technician, he's busy. I'm not getting him, so I have to wait for 2 weeks to get the technician to do my work. So the OTT actually has helped the industry as such. Like people get work. Everyone is working today. Everyone has something to do. They have content to deliver. They go for shoot every day. Even a small actor, where we cast them for a small role, 4 days, 5 days of work. After 2 days, I'm not able to get his date. So usually it happens with big actors where we don't have the dates and stuff. So actually, I was understanding in a different way. Post pandemic, it actually helped the industry. OTT coming in,
Yeah.
actually it gave lots and lots of work. Actually.
So, yes, I really like the point Madhumita ma'am made about the daily wage workers. Like, of course, their ability to earn is going to be affected in a pandemic situation. But yes, it's all fine now. We're starting over again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now we'll be answering questions from the audience. So,
Sure.
shall we start?
Sure. Absolutely.
So, here's the first question. Let me get it a minute. Right. So the first question is from Rohit. Do you think we can get a hard-hitting raw series like sort of Patal, for example, Patal Lok from the Tamil cinema industry?
Rajesh, you want to take that? You know why I'm asking you if you want to take that.
I know, I know. See, again, you cannot compare contents from other regions actually. So we have a sensibility. We have certain things we are allowed to do it in OTT, and people talk about censorship and stuff. So I love Patal Lok. Since you have mentioned that, I loved it. I liked that subject very the entire series very much. It was brilliant. Yes, people are trying to make something like that. We also try to make something like that. End of it, like we try to dilute it a bit and bring it down, right? That's what happens. Uh, yeah, if you ask me, will it work? Yes, it will work. But if you ask me, will it happen? Then I don't know. We are trying to do something, create something. It will work for sure. If you give content like Patal Lok in Tamil, in South for any language, it will work for sure. But bringing it out in the same way what they did is, I don't know, like how much it's possible. We're trying, but there are few filmmakers we are trying to create content like that. Maybe maybe soon it might come out.
Yeah.
Right then. So on to the next question. Okay. What do you think of series taken in Hollywood and others? Do you think it would work in Collywood? Having series going on for seasons. For example, let's take something like Money Heist. It's been going for 5 seasons or so. Would the general audience in Tamil Nadu accept it?
I
See,
think they
this is
definitely would. I think
yeah. No,
because,
see, we accepted serials, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Go ahead,
yeah.
Rajesh.
So we will definitely they will yeah, definitely they will accept. No doubt about it, because we watch series for 200 episodes, 300 episodes, 600 episodes, right? Whatever soaps which come in televisions. So we have the tendency of watching series. So that is not, it's new to us. But the quality of content differs. Definitely they will accept. And I don't like comparing it with Hollywood contents. First of all, Money is not a Hollywood content. So we can make, see, as Madhu said, like we have lots and lots of stories to say. Like if you say take Game of Thrones, we have our mythological characters can go, we can make some 30 seasons out of it. We have so much of thing to say within our, we don't need to try to copy Money Heist or do Game of Thrones or something like that. We have so much of content where we can look into it. We can make it a series. Now, I heard somebody is working on Ponniyin Selvan as a series. So we have so much of content and people definitely will accept it, but we don't need to compare it with Hollywood things because their budget and their scale is something completely different. Like it's not நூத்துக்கு பத்துக்கு difference இருக்குது. So when you have 10 rupees for a product and they have 100 rupees for a product and they have the same content again, and if you closely watch it, mainstream films now, OTTs, they have more, they're coming out with lots of experimental stuff, but mainstreams, they keep saying the same content again and again, right? They were doing that, but they did it in a very the craft was very high because of the budget is very high. So definitely they will accept, people will accept for sure. Sorry, Madhu, continue.
No, I was just saying that it's definitely possible, and audiences will take seasons for years, will come back for more seasons. I also think it's because as audience, we love our characters. I mean, it's a reason why a lot of our actors ended up becoming politicians also, no? When we invest in a character, when we invest, what is that famous punchline? I don't know that anymore. If you like someone, then you're always behind them, you know what I mean? So we take time to invest in people's and character, and when we do, we like them and we just continue and we invest with them. We're there for the long haul. We're a country that believes in marriages more than relationships, because marriages mean longer term, right? So it's the same logic. People will come back for seasons because you've given them characters that you want to invest in. Like the person who just said, Patalok is coming up with 2 seasons. Mumbai Diaries is coming with 2 seasons after that. So people are believing in they've invested in that character. They've gotten attached to certain characters. Criminal Justice in Hotstar, there are 3 seasons now, and Special Ops, there's 2 seasons now. So people will invest in it.
Right then. So it's time for the next question then.
Yeah, sure.
Your opinion on this episode.
மாட்டி விட ட்ரை பண்றாருங்களா பிரவீன் கிரி? See, I think there's a certain responsibility that lies in people who create art. I'm not being diplomatic here. I think it's important because at the end of the day, what you say is really important, and how the audience is taking it is important as well. Now, having said that, I don't think you can make great art if you don't have freedom of speech. And there should be a certain level of freedom of speech. There should be a certain level of acceptance for freedom of expression, for great content to come out. So while we can be aware, and to specifically answer Praveen Giri, I think censor board as a board is supposed to certify your film with a certificate. It's not supposed to morally police you, right? Because moral policing, if you ask me, is something that is different between Rahul, between Rajesh, between Madhumita, and between Praveen. One of us may think smoking is okay, but drinking is not. One of us may think drinking is okay. Beer is okay, but whiskey is not. One of us may think smoking weed is okay, but smoking regular cigarette is not. So that is based on perspective. So when we show films to censor board, when moral policing happens, then it's a question of trying to stop people's freedom of expression. So in a lot of other countries, if you see, censor board is basically what gives you a certificate. It tells you, this film can be watched by people above 13 years old. This film can be watched by above people 16 years old, or this film is kid friendly. This film is not kid friendly. And that is the job of uh, the censor board that gives you that chop, that age bracket that is allowed to watch this content. Whereas when we have to cut certain content because somebody believes it's not okay by their moral standards, then by my moral standards, even eating onion and garlic could be wrong. So does it mean we can't show people eating onion and garlic on screen? So it's very subjective, right? What is okay and what is not okay is very subjective. So you can't do moral policing. I think in a lot of films, in a lot of content in India, sometimes, with all due respect to the censor board, I think that's what happens. Moral policing happens, and when moral policing happens, it's somebody's personal opinion, right? It's somebody's personal opinion, and that this content is offensive. Instead, if we went back to the original way of what content, which age group can watch that content, then I think it'll be a much better system. But that's not a one-pronged approach. The second-pronged approach, which is more important, and actually it's a three-pronged approach. The second one is where theaters have to ensure that they check your IDs when they're letting you in. I have seen 5-year-old kids and 6-year-old kids walk into a theater which is adulterated content. Right? The third point is when families take their 5-6-year-old to watch adulterated content. I mean, so like I said, it's always a responsibility of more than one person. You can't put a blame on one person. So I think censor board should go back to giving us like age appropriate certificates. And then the second one is when theater owners check our IDs when we walk into theaters and allow only respective age groups to walk into the theater to watch a movie. And third is we as an audience, we become responsible members and don't take our 5-6-year-old kids to adulterated films.
Right.
Sounds pretty simple, no?
I guess the implementation is going to be hard. Yeah, so here's the next question. Do you think the online reviews make any impact on box office of small budget movies released in theaters?
Rajesh, take it. But நீங்க பெரிய படம் தானே பண்ணிருக்கீங்க.
ஆன்லைன் இல்ல அது நான் பெரிய படம் பண்ணிருக்கேன். இல்ல இந்த சென்சார் போர்டு பத்தி நல்லா பேசுனீங்க மது, ரொம்ப நன்றி.
மனசுக்குள்ள நிறைய பேருக்கு இருக்கிற அந்த குமுறல் தெரியுது, நமக்கு அதோட வலி தெரியுது.
இல்ல இதுல என்னன்னா, ஐ திங்க் ஐ கேன் சே திஸ், தெரியல, பட் சென்சார் பத்தி ஒரு மிஸ்கன்செப்ஷன் இருக்கு. அவங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி சென்சார் போர்டு இஸ் டு சர்டிஃபை த ஃபிலிம் தட் திஸ் ஃபிலிம் டு பி வாட்ச்ட் by this age category. அவ்வளவுதான். இட் இஸ் நாட் அபவுட், as she said, moral policing கிடையாது. இதுல என்ன கொடுமைனா அதுல இருக்கவங்களுக்கே அது தெரியாது. So அதுதான் பிரச்சனை. So my film, there was a scene where a girl drinking, they said you cannot show a woman drinking. Okay, great, super. அப்புறம் they said you cannot show violence against a woman. And in my film there was women, ரெண்டு women சண்டை போட்டுக்கிறது வந்து violence against a women எப்படி ஆகுது? ரெண்டு லேடி சண்டை போட்டு. So they don't understand that. It's completely misconcept. புரிஞ்சுக்கிறாங்க அத. So it is only, you have to segregate the film that only this age group can watch it. And as she said, there are various levels of controlling that also. It's not only us. So coming back to this, what is the question? Do you think the online reviews make any impact on box office of small budget movies released in theaters? என்ன கேட்டா I'll say no. Small budget movies, நான் எந்த ஸ்மால் பட்ஜெட் தாங்க கம்பேரிட்டிவ்லி, பெரிய படத்தை பத்திலாம் பேசுனீங்க, என்ன சின்ன படங்க தான், பட் இன் மிட் ரேஞ்ச் சொல்லிக்கலாம். பட் ஐ டோன்ட் திங்க் ஸோ இட் வில் அஃபெக்ட்ங்க. எனக்கு என்ன பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் தெரியல. ஏன்னா see, people want to watch the film, yes, they will go and watch it. And in the reviews வந்து எனக்கு from the beginning I have this idea of anything online, people talking about it, because it's an open platform, anybody can say anything about any content, right? And people also know about it. And I don't think so they watch an online review then decide to go for a film. எனக்கு அது தெரியல. எனக்கு அப்படிதான் நடக்குதுன்னா எனக்கு I don't know about it. எனக்கு, but for me personally I don't think that will have any effect. So அப்படின்னா ஒரு படம் நல்லா இருக்குன்னு பேச ஆரம்பிச்சா அந்த படம் நல்லா ஓடி இருக்கணும். இப்போ ஒரு நிறைய நல்ல படங்கள் வந்துருக்குல்ல, இந்த தென்மேற்கு பருவக்காற்று மாதிரி நிறைய சின்ன படங்கள், நிறைய சின்ன பட்ஜெட்ல அந்த படங்கள் people have praised about that film. பாக்ஸ் ஆஃபீஸ்ல எக்கச்சக்கமா பணம் பண்ணிருக்கணும். அது லைக் ரிவர்ஸ்லயும் ஒர்க் ஆகணும்ல. அது when negative reviews affects the collection, then people praised about
positive reviews should boost it.
Should boost it, right? So when that doesn't happen, and this is not also happening, so அது எனக்கு தெரியல, it won't affect தான் என்னோட. I think that's my point, opinion about it.
Right then.
Yes.
So ma'am, do you have anything to so we have our last question. Do you think we can take a film like a multiverse concept in Tamil cinema and can work on it?
Yeah, I think like Rajesh was saying, that we are aware of some of the content that's being made in the OTT space, right? There is plenty of content in sci-fi zone. There's plenty of content that is being made, that is being developed right now, which will probably come in the next year or the year after. And I think multiverse, if they mean something like a Avatar or something like that, then sure, we have creators who are very capable of coming up with ideas even better than that, and they are working on it. Maybe it's just evolving and it's just coming out now. So maybe by end of next year, the year after that, you'll see more exciting genres and genre bending shows also.
Right. So I think we can end with this.
Okay,
and yes,
great.
the discussion was like super refreshing and eye-opener really. And Madhumita ma'am and Rajesh sir, thanks a lot for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today.
Thank you
you've
very
really
much
opened
for
the
having us.
audience.
Thank you so
And
much for having us here. Yeah.
Thank you.
And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors again. So MNX, our entertainment partner, Romedy Now, an entertainment partner, Short Friendly online media partner, a Radio Mirchi entertainment partner, Radio City FM partner, and Pocket Aces entertainment partner. And last but not the least, TVS Motors, our powered by partner, for making this event a reality. So this is Rahul signing off, and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. Bye, Rajesh.
Thank you.
Bye, Rahul.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.